Hi again, Risa here, back with another episode of Ask Risa. This is my fortnightly video series where I answer some common wedding planning questions and problems that you might be having if you're trying to plan your own wedding. So if you are watching this around the time that it goes live, it is right now coronavirus pandemonium. It's mid-March and everything is closed, everything is shut down. People are being told to stay home, work from home. It's chaos. Everything's going to hell in a handbasket. But I'm not going to talk about that because literally everything is changing by the day, by the hour, by the minute sometimes. And it's such a fast moving situation. Not even going to try to go there right now. Instead, I am just going to continue providing advice, general advice that applies all the time when you are trying to plan your wedding. So today I want to talk about how to find a person to officiate your wedding. This is a very important thing that you need to get married. You have to have someone who has been approved by the state in which you are getting married to solemnize your marriage. That's the part where they say, by the power vested in me by the state of whatever, I now pronounce you married, or husband and wife, or husband and husband, whatever you're doing. That's the solemnization of your marriage, and by law you are not married until that takes place, and the person who does that has to be authorized by the state to do it. So you basically have four options when it comes to an officiant. You can have a clergy person, a priest, a minister, a rabbi, someone like that. You can have a judge or a justice of the peace, someone who is given that power by the state through their office, through their profession. You can have a professional officiant, someone who is not a clergy person with a typical house of worship and is not a state employee, but is their own independent professional wedding officiant, and they have either ordination online or they are licensed through the state, or both, something like that. Or then the fourth option is someone who is a friend or family member. And again, if you go that route, you're going to get them ordained online, which I will talk about more a little bit later. If you go with the clergy person route, clearly that's going to be more of a religious person doing your ceremony. If you go the judge, justice of the peace route, it's going to be very secular, no religion at all. If you go with a friend or family member or a professional officiant, it can be as secular or as religious as you want. Obviously, they're not ordained in the Catholic Church, or they're not, ordained through the Episcopal Church or whatever church it is, but it can still be as religious or spiritual as you want it to be, or not. It can be completely religion-free and completely secular, totally up to you. The number of weddings that are held actually in houses of worship is declining. I very rarely do them. They still happen. People definitely still get married in synagogues, in churches. It's just much less common than it used to be. If you're having a clergy person do your wedding, oftentimes they will come to you. I know that Catholic priests are usually kind of touchy about this. They want the wedding to be held in the actual Catholic Church, the physical building of the church, not just the concept of within the Catholic Church. So it's sort of religion dependent. If that's the route you want to go, you probably already have a regular house of worship and a regular clergy person, so you're just going to need to talk to them about that. But if you're getting married somewhere like a winery or something like that, and you want your regular family priest to marry you, you may not be able to do that. Just FYI. I have had clients have multiple marriage ceremonies. I've had them do the official Catholic Church ceremony and then have a separate ceremony at the more secular site where they're getting married, and have a friend or a family member perform that part of the ceremony because they've already been officially married by the church and now they're just doing it for themselves. So that's definitely an option as well. I have had a couple of clients who are attorneys and they clerked for judges, so they asked the judge that they clerked for to officiate at their ceremony. So that's a really cool option if you are an attorney or have worked for a judge in any way, shape, or form. Having them perform your marriage is really awesome because they're a professional judge, but they're also a personal friend usually. So it's like best of both worlds. I have a lot of clients who have friends or family members officiate their weddings. I am actually an ordained minister online. I got ordained so that I could perform one of my brother's ceremonies. I have 4 brothers. I was the officiant at one of their weddings. That same brother was the officiant at my wedding. So we kind of traded off that service. Online ordination is super easy and it's free. The 2 places that I generally recommend to people are the Universal Life Church, which I think the web address is like themonastery.org. If you just Google Universal Life Church, it's the first thing that comes up. And then the other one is American Marriage Ministries, which I think is AMM.org. But again, just Google American Marriage Ministries. I am actually ordained through Universal Life Church, not that it matters. They're both free, super easy, fill out a form online, and you get, your ordination. You don't actually have to generally prove to the state that you are ordained. You will have to fill out the marriage license in the appropriate spot as the person officiating, and you'll have to put your title, which is usually just minister, and then your affiliation. So if it's American Marriage Ministries, you would write that. If it's Universal Life Church, you would write that. But you don't have to provide a membership number. You don't have to send a copy of your ordination certificate or anything like that. So it's totally legit. Now, keep in mind that I am not up to date on every single state, but there are, I think, still some states that do not allow online ordained ministers to perform marriages. I know when I worked in DC a few years ago, Virginia was one of those states. You couldn't have a friend or a family member perform your ceremony in Virginia if they were just ordained online, because Virginia did not designate them as authorized to perform marriage ceremonies. So it's definitely governed at the state level. It is definitely something you should look into before you decide to have a friend or family member officiate. I'm now in California. California is totally fine with it. So take with that what you will. So yeah, you just want to Google that. So then that leads me to the last category, which is professional wedding officiants. And I actually reached out to my favorite Sacramento area professional wedding officiant. Her name is Erin Sum, and her company is As You Wish Weddings. I wanted to get her thoughts on some of the benefits. I'm going to say it's the pros to hiring a pro, because I'm a dork and I think that's funny. So the pros to hiring a pro, and then also a few things to look for, questions to ask when you are searching for an officiant for your wedding. So here's her list of pros. First of all, they know how to deal with mishaps. If there is a sound problem or the microphone goes out in the middle of the ceremony, it's not going to fluster them. It's not going to freak them out. They are equipped to handle that. And in line with that, but also separately, these people are trained public speakers. So they know how to enunciate, they know how to project so that their voice can reach all the way to the back of your congregation or amassed friends and family. There's no chance they're going to get stage fright and cancel on you at the last minute, which could happen. Erin said that she has gotten quite a few inquiries over the years from panicked couples who thought that one of their friends was going to officiate their ceremony, but a couple weeks beforehand decided, nope, can't do it, not going to do it, sorry. And so then they're left without an officiant, and so they have to reach out to her. So there's no chance your professional wedding officiant is going to get scared and back out at the last minute. Also, a plus, they know how to sign the marriage license and how to get everything filled out. Marriage licenses are very particular. You have to make sure you don't make any errors. Nothing can be crossed out. Nothing can be corrected right on the form. It's very important, because if you screw up the marriage license, you're screwed. Basically, you have to start all over again. You have to go back down to the office that issued it. You have to get a whole new license. It's a big effing deal. So you want to make sure that that doesn't get screwed up. So that's another advantage to having a professional officiant. And you might be thinking that if you just hire someone to perform your marriage ceremony, that it won't be as personal as it would be if you have a friend or family member do it. But these folks can make it as personal as you want. They will get to know you. They will either have meetings with you or they will talk to you on the phone. They're going to ask you a lot of questions. they're going to get to know you and your fiance so that your wedding ceremony can be as personal as you want it to be. They don't just have a cookie cutter script that they use for every single person, so don't worry about that. Questions to ask any prospective wedding officiants that you're considering. Ask them if they have any sample ceremonies that you can build from, because there is a structure to most wedding ceremonies, even though each ceremony is personalized for the couple at hand. There's a lot of commonalities. So if they have a sample ceremony that they can give you that you can build from, that's super helpful. Will they help you design in special elements, personal vows? Aaron and I worked together with a couple last summer who did a butterfly release as part of their ceremony, because butterflies were very meaningful to them. There was a whole story that went along with it and a poem. So they worked with Aaron to incorporate that poem into the ceremony, and we ordered live butterflies on the internet and had them delivered. Yes, you can FedEx butterflies, fun fact. And we did a butterfly release as part of the ceremony, and it was super cool, and it was just really meaningful to the couple, and Aaron and I worked with them to incorporate that. Also, another popular thing to do is Aaron will ask each half of the couple what they love most about the other one, and then she'll work that into the ceremony script. And so it's kind of like a surprise to each half of the couple to hear what their person says about them. So that's kind of fun. Another question to ask is whether the officiant will take care of mailing all the paperwork. So after the wedding is over, after the ceremony is over, the witnesses have to sign and the officiant has to sign the marriage license, but then that license actually has to get back to the county clerk's office. And so it has to be mailed. And if you're leaving for your honeymoon right away, you don't really want to be bothered with it. If you have a friend or family member doing your ceremony, I always recommend that you not let them return your paperwork and that you do it yourself, just because that's not something you want to entrust to someone else. But if you have a professional officiant, they usually take care of that, but it is a question to ask them to find out if they do. And then sort of the obvious stuff, like, do they have any reviews that you can look at, or testimonials from past clients? What are their fees? What does that include? Is there a travel fee? Do they charge extra to come to the rehearsal? Things like that. And then the main thing is you just have to make sure you're comfortable with them. And I say this about all your wedding vendors. You have to make sure that you have a personal rapport with them, because your ceremony is, that's the most intimate part of your day. It's you and your fiance are literally pledging to spend your lives together, and you want to make sure the person who's guiding you through that portion of your day is someone that you're very comfortable with and feel good about having up there with you. So it's very important to meet with or talk to on the phone, at the very least, any potential officiant that you might hire. So thanks to Erin from As You Wish Weddings for sharing all those tips with me so that I could share them with you. So if you have any questions, let me know. Feel free to comment, shoot me a DM, whatever works for you. And I'll be back in 2 weeks to talk about something else. And I guess in the meantime, everybody just stay safe, stay inside, try not to go crazy, wash your hands, do the best you can. I know it's tough for everybody, but hopefully anybody watching this later on in the future, after we're past this whole coronavirus situation, maybe, this will all just seem like a distant memory. Fingers crossed. All right. Talk to you soon. Bye for now.